Yo, what is up guys? So today we're going to be showing off the best version of Dragunity that I have ever seen. This is a really good deck as it will be able to open up with boards that are really tough to beat. Now I know I recently made a Dragunity video, however I'm going to consider this one a lot better as it's able to go ahead and put up more disruptions up on the board. In addition to that, this was technically the 5th summon, just in case anyone was afraid of getting Nibiru'd. But we'll also show gameplay of what happens when you get Nibiru'd, aka the card that can completely disrupt lots of combo decks. Now this deck can play through, I would say, one hand trap depending on the circumstances, but it is a deck that is very susceptible to losing simply due to hand traps. However, it has one of the strongest turn 1 openers, and this is why I'm going to consider this the best Dragunity variant, is because there's not that many decks that can completely negate all spells and throw out multiple negates. Specifically, Tree Beast is the main card that will be stopping spells. It's technically Spell Canceller, but there's another form of negation that you'll be able to get with this deck variant. So you can not only lock your opponent out of their extra deck, but on top of that, the Amorphage over here, the Lechery, will actually lock your opponent out of using any spell cards, which obviously that's a pretty good effect. And on top of that, again, being able to still make this before you go for your plays is going to be excellent. Because it just gives you an extra way of stopping another variant of your opponent disrupting you. So at this point, he literally can't Yugioh. We have the Savage Dragon, which has not only 3 negates, technically it's once per turn, but then you also have another double negates with this over here. And on top of that, your opponent can't use the extra, and they cannot use spells. So this is a very strong variant. And let me go and show you guys some extra plays, and I'll go ahead and give you guys the gameplay of it against the Nibiru. But this play over here, I know Black Lotus Soldier, not the most meta of things, but I want to show you guys what you can do in the deck without even normal summoning. And there's not very many decks that can really play around no normal summons, so what would be a good example of this is, let's say you go into game 2 or 3, or you don't happen to be going first, because the gameplays mostly are going to be going first here. Technically I have another gameplay of it going second against, not what I would consider the most meta of things, but this build over here by Yaga is actually really good. So it's also going to go ahead and show you guys a lot of the other plays that you can do in the deck with different hands. But to be able to go off with, let's say, going for a Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode, or let's say a Lava Golem, anything that would normally make you lose out under normal summon, specifically the Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode is excellent to break a board, and then on top of that, you'll be able to go ahead and establish a very strong board and basically just win the game. It'd almost be like an evenly match. Although evenly match can also be negated. I really like Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode, and that is simply just due to it being a cost versus Nibiru not being a cost, because Nibiru obviously can get negated, where Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode, it can't really get stopped. I mean, yeah, you can maybe activate something so your opponent can't tribute your cards, but for the most part, it's like pretty much unstoppable. And once again, we're going to be able to establish a very powerful board, and this is actually using some of the Pendulum cards, which is quite nice. But again, this is without the normal summon. That's huge. There's not very many Yu-Gi-Oh decks that can pull off this type of a board where it's like no spells, no extra deck, and multiple negates with no normal summon. So that's where it can get quite powerful. And then this one over here is up against a deck that will be using a Nibiru over here. Now, it is kind of difficult to kind of see when you need to negate them. Basically, the problem against this deck sometimes that you run into is if they have any follow-up card. Like Reborn can obviously be, that's a very simple follow-up card. There's a few other cards here, but any extender. So he's going to go and stop it right here. Maybe he was afraid of the Crystal Wing coming out, but nonetheless, Reborn is one of those cards that will be an extender. So you have to be careful when you actually try to stop this. There's no way to realize if your opponent has Reborn or not, but there's a lot of other cards that can act as extra extenders over here, so you're able to go ahead, add one, then on top of that, banish this card from your graveyard target, a monster card in your spell and trap zone, equipped to Dragunity, and also special summon it. But again, there are lots of other cards that can be considered extenders in this deck. And look, he already got hit by the Nibiru, and we're still going to be able to make quite a great board over here because of the build. I'm going to go ahead and see Barca activate that effect. Basically, he's the Noble Knight. He's equipping all of the cards. And then we're going to go ahead and see more special summons. And obviously, well, the Nibiru's a once per turn. I mean, I don't even feel like it needs to have that effect of once per turn. I feel like if your opponent still special summons 5 times after Nibiru, maybe you use it too early, but again, he was probably afraid of him going straight into an 8, or whatever the case may be, because sometimes you activate Nibiru, you try to use Nibiru, but it's too late. So you can still see he's locked out of the extra deck. He doesn't know what he's playing at the moment, but he's still locked out of the extra deck, but you still have that quick effect. And then on top of that, this effect is actually super amazing. The Darkness Metal, the Dragon of Dark Steel. It does limit you that you cannot special summon Link monsters for the rest of the turn, but this card's effect, just to bring back one monster that is banished during the graveyard, is a amazing effect. So he's just going to go ahead and kind of deal with the board, go for the Avenged Savior over here. And he's going to go ahead and be able to go ahead and search out whatever he wants for NEGATES over here. And then once again, being able to bring back a card, and he's going to go ahead and go for Ascalon, banish the card. Great stuff indeed, and that's going to go ahead and be game over there. But I do like seeing the Skull Servant decks. And then we have one more over here, and then I'll also give you guys a deck profile in case you guys want to go ahead and play it. But this is like the basic combo over here. This is like one of the most simple combos for the Dragunity engine. It's basically just get ducks into the graveyard over here. He's going to also use that set rotation, get double copies of that Ravine, and then he's going to go ahead and go for the Glow. So it's basically ducks, you go for a Phalanx. A lot of plays would used to go into Vajrayana, then respell someone, but it requires more summons that way and also kind of clogs up your extra deck. But you go for Durg, go for Baby Rock, it special summons itself. Then also you go for the Dragunity Mist over here. And you're going to be able to go right into Heretical Tum. Tum will bring out another copy of this. Just go ahead and make another free summons for days. Going to go ahead and Zephyros bounce back, and Baby Rock is still in the hand. We got Romulus over here. Going to go ahead and add the extra Dragunity card. Go equip it, get that extra card equipped to it, basically another summon, and then go right into the Hulk. Bring out another Dragunity tuner, go into Barca, special summon, or I guess you should say equip all of them, and then we're going to go ahead and special summon them again. And then this card just like, this engine is just really, really powerful. This is up against the new data case. But this is like the basic bread and butter combos of this over here. We also have that face down. There's also a magical mid-breaker field, so you can kind of protect your cards if you want to. During each player's main phase, one monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by their opponent's card effects, and they cannot target monsters their opponent controls over there. But for the most part, it's not really relevant because the guy doesn't have anything to stop. So like if this deck goes uncontested, this is like the go-to play. This is the bread and butter combo turn 1, and obviously he literally can't Yugioh because, well, we've got 1, 2, 3 negates, and on top of that there's no spells that will be able to be activated over here with the effect of the lechery. And then we also got multiple negates with Savage Dragon, which was once per turn. But that is the deck build over here. So big shout outs to Yaga Warrior for hooking me up with the gameplay as well as his deck variant. As when I recently uploaded the Dragunity video, a couple of you guys mentioned this is not the best set it can make. Because what I was seeing was basically they would go for a Dreadbearer, which is like one of the newer cards. You'd also go ahead and go for the Guard Dragon engine. And then you would basically end up with one of these. Occasionally there was one extra negate, but I like this build a lot more, so I wanted to give you guys this build too. And I think it is the best Dragunity deck I have ever seen over here. We didn't even get to see action of Tempest, which could be reoccurring, another free additional monster for the archetype. So only Dragon Ruler off of the list. But yeah, I was seeing pretty much this and then this. I was just seeing lockout of extra deck, and that was it. But this build over here, as you guys have seen from the gameplay, it is very powerful. The only thing that I would say is a downside with this deck is it's really hard to put in a lot of the hand traps. Like, we technically have this as basically a hand trap, right? You got 3 cards to stop your opponent from going off. It definitely is more so oriented around a go turn 1 deck, but because I saw that gameplay of him not even needing to normal summon, it makes me think this deck could even main deck Sphere Mode, as it is more powerful than this card. Depending on the matchup, sometimes this could be a little bit more powerful, but I just think it's very common if you happen to go second that your opponent is going to summon a bunch of monsters, unless they're playing like Evil Eye, summon 1. But like for the most part, the decks that are going to be a threat will put up multiple monsters. So I'm actually thinking about even if I was to play this, Sphere Mode would be a great addition to the deck. But I think the main problem that this deck has, because it searches out so many dang times and goes through some of the cards for the consistency, going back to my previous point, is it doesn't have room to run triple copies of like Droplet and then throw in like the Ash, the Ogres, because right now Numeron is a hot thing, and if you get matched up against Numeron, it's not the easiest thing to go ahead and deal with, especially if you can't deal with it like immediately. It can be quite a big threat. But anyways, I want to mouse over the cards really quick now that I got that out of the way, as that was something I did want to go ahead and mention. But I will include the YDK as a download file in the Discord, so you guys can go ahead and download it. You can check the pinned comment over there. But yeah, the new Dragunities are looking a lot better with this build, and my opinion on them has changed a little bit because, again, before it was just lock out of the extra deck, what I've seen. But with this, we were seeing 3 negates, because I have seen it with 2 negates, but it didn't have also the additional combo. But he did it without the normal summon, which again is absolutely insane. So there's no spells, no extra deck, and then we had the triple negates, and you guys saw it multiple times. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel here, guys, make sure you subscribe, turn on that bell so you don't miss out on other cool Yu-Gi-Oh decks, and I guess updated ones if we do have to update it. And once again, thank you so much, Jaga, for hooking me up with the gameplay. If you guys want to send me other replays of anything, feel free to do so at AzneyesReplays@gmail.com, or you guys can send me in a PM via the Discord. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll catch you next video. I'm out. Peace.